Jay here from Stretford Paddock, and this is a video called Keep or Sell. It really is that simple. We go through the squad and we decide whether we should keep a player or sell him. We're going to start from the back. We're going to start with the goalkeepers, then we'll go to the defenders, midfielders, and attackers. And we literally, between the three of us, tell each other and you whether we would keep or sell these players. Now, it's quite easy to be emotional after the nature of that Derby Day defeat and just want to sell them all, but we're going to try and be a little bit more reasoned than that.
I don't know if that's true.
All right, we'll try. We'll try our best. And throughout this, I want you to get involved in the comments and let us know whether you agree with any of us, none of us, whatever. Get involved in the comments. Let's start with David De Gea. He's the main goalkeeper this season. So me and Joe have been quite controversial because we've gone with sell.
It's not controversial. I think like it's a very majority opinion.
We've gone and you've gone with keep. So I'll start with you, Ronnie, because you've gone with the minority. You saying keep David De Gea, which you say is not the controversial point of view. You're saying that you're saying that yours is more controversial because most people seem to, I don't know, think De Gea wants to go. But I disagree. I think De Gea is a very popular player. One player in a month several times this season. In many ways, has been one of our better players this season. So tell us why you're keeping him.
He completely divides the fan base right down the middle, De Gea.
Yeah.
It's the De Gea versus Henderson thing. And I just thought I'd pick keep because, like what you just said, I know he has limitations with his distribution and his cross-stopping. I think he's starting to hear that a little bit. I think he rushed out in a derby.
Yeah.
And then did that mess
He
with
rushed out when he didn't need to.
And that was like, I watched that and I thought, he's done that because I think he's starting to hear the little murmurings that he doesn't do it enough. So it's obviously not natural to him. But I thought, I'd press keep. I put keep because he's been probably one of our best players of the season. I think he's the reason why things in certain matches haven't been a lot worse in terms of points total. And I think I'd like to keep the guy that's just won Premier League Player of the Month, I think. I swear, not just United Player of the Month. I swear
but the thing with this is it's not.
Quote me if I'm wrong. You can find that column. I swear he was Premier League Player of the Month. So
it must be amazing then. That's why Aubameyang's still at Arsenal, isn't it? Because he never got Premier League top goal scorer.
No, just saying that. I think there's a lot more problems at United than.
And we're going to get into every single one.
To get rid of De Gea.
We're going to get rid of it.
And what this is going to end up being, I appreciate, is I'm probably going to be saying sell to players that really shouldn't go this window. It shouldn't all be in summer, get rid of him now. But I think long-term or medium term, if we want to win trophies, a goalkeeper like David De Gea isn't going to do it.
Okay, so all right. So the terms on this keep or sell is just medium term, long term, short term.
I think in the next two,
whatever you want to context. I thought this was like a summer.
Yeah, I thought it was a summer.
Well, what I'm saying is, I'm happy if United were to replace him in the summer, but I'm going to say sell to about 15 players here. I appreciate that can't happen.
Right. Okay.
I'm not saying we do it all this minute, but if any one or any number of these players got sold this summer, I wouldn't be disappointed, and that's what I'd go for. I just think he's a very limited player, and what he's limited to is exceptional most of the time.
Yeah.
Although through the last 4 years, he's not been exceptional at shot stopping, but he doesn't come out enough. Like we'd literally just looking, weren't we? He's in the bottom 3% of goalkeepers for collecting crosses and for coming out of his box to defend his team.
Did you say like last 3 years he's not been exceptional at shot stopping?
Yeah.
Does that include this season?
No, not including this. I said through the last 4 years, I thought.
Okay,
That's what I meant to say anyway. He's not been exceptional at that.
Yeah.
But he's always been poor coming out and collecting the ball. In modern day, you have to be able to do it. You have to be able to pass. You have to be able to claim the ball. You have to be able to come out from your back. Everyone wants to play a high line, and centre-backs aren't generally fast enough to cover from the halfway line to the 6-yard line.
Yeah.
And that's what De Gea makes his centre-backs do. You need someone that can come out of the 18-yard box, or at least up to the edge of the 18-yard box, and clear that. It makes defenders look worse. And why are we having a goalkeeper that makes our defenders look worse?
Put it this way, in the short, I hear all of those sentiments. Obviously, you've done a video recently, done some data on. I know he lacks in his distribution, he lacks in his cross-collecting and his defensive actions outside of the box. Obviously, the primary skill of a keeper is to save shots, and that's what I think he's really good at. And I think if we're looking at sell and keep, maybe in the long term, if United are going to progress to this kind of modern way of football where you have got high lines, you need keepers to be a little bit more of almost a third centre half, and you build up, stepping out through balls when there's a high line or whatever. But I just think in the meantime, there's a lot more issues than keepers, and I don't think there's a standout amazing keeper that United can go and get out there anyway to replace him. So I'm just going to say keep.
I was a bit torn with this. The only reason I've gone with sell is I just feel like we're having these debates about David De Gea all the time for a reason. I think, yes, his form over the last 4 years has been patchy. His shot stopping's been better this season. Still not been perfect, but better. Like you say, he got player of the month for January. But I just feel like at the back, we look so shaky. And a lot of it is down to him. He gives the ball away a lot. And we've seen things like, him kicking the ball straight to opposition players, throwing it to Rafael Varane.
Did he injure himself kicking it out?
Yeah, I don't know, but I know he like throwing it to Rafael Varane when he's not looking. He just doesn't help what is already a nervy defence with his actions. And I think modern goalkeeping has changed. Love Spanish Dave, love what he's done at the club.
Yeah.
Do I think he's the answer moving forward? I honestly don't, regardless. And I know that sounds like a bit of a contradiction because some of the performances
a bit
have
of a caveat, though?
but it's just not getting any better in terms of our playing out of the back is woeful, and he's a big part of that.
Do you know what's weird though? And there's a bit of a caveat. It's like De Gea's been at this club for 10 years now.
In 2011.
Yeah, I don't know if these issues were that obvious and extreme early on. I think he was always a little bit weak and feeble with the crossing.
He was, but
I don't know if his passing, his distribution. I think it's got worse over time. Or I don't know if the demands in the modern game have changed, or whether he's just playing with worse teams.
I think if you look around though, look at the goalies that he was playing up against at that time. Joe Hart, shit with his feet, doesn't really come out. He collects the ball a bit more, but he's not a ball player. Petr Cech the same. He can come out for a cross, but he's not a ball player. Then City getting Bravo and immediately replace him with Ederson. Liverpool getting Alisson. Like, we've got ball playing goalkeepers at the top level now, and that's pretty much across Europe. I think goalkeeping's changed.
Dean Henderson, same thing. Dean Henderson, keep or sell. Again, I mean, that kind of makes sense because me and Joe are saying the thing is with Dean Henderson, I don't even think he necessarily is United's number one. I think there might be a case that you say there's not a goalkeeper out there on it, but I think if you actually look, there could be a goalkeeper out there who could come in and do a job. And I think if there is, Dean Henderson could be used as a sort of one of these keepers you bring in for cup games or as a number two. I don't think David De Gea does that. I don't think he sits on the bench on 375 grand a week.
That's where I disagree though.
What?
Because Dean Henderson doesn't want to be a number two, and his wages are ridiculous anyway for someone.
Yeah, but he's on half of what I think, or a lot less than what David De Gea's on, and he's 8 years younger, I think. Yeah, so like, he's not. He's going to be. You've got a better chance of Dean Henderson
you've got to keep one
rotating with you than you have of David De Gea. David De Gea has no chance he's going to be number two. No. Dean Henderson potentially could.
And
be.
Also, and like I said, if we're looking at the style of goalkeeper that is more successful, it is a Dean Henderson style of keeper. Like you said, Jay, whether he's up to it or not, is a different matter. But I think the only time we've ever seen Dean Henderson play consistently in his career in the Premier League was for Sheffield United, and he was brilliant.
Yeah. He was.
Why not try and
look at what Aaron Ramsdale's done at Arsenal. I don't even think he's as good, but he had a good season at Sheffield United. Yeah. Went to Arsenal, given a run in the team. Had a couple of shaky moments, but
Aaron Ramsdale is
well.
extremely overrated.
But he's done well there. I mean, look, Arsenal are doing well. Do you know what I mean? He's having a decent season. You might be right on the overrated factor, but he's having a good season.
With the Dean Henderson thing, it's like there's a lot of stuff he's good at, like De Gea isn't. But when I've watched him, I've seen him make mistakes. I've seen him make errors. I've seen him look shaky. It's like people kind of, when this Dean Henderson De Gea argument, they're going like it's like a really clear shot thing that Dean Henderson's going to come in and like be some sort of.
I mean, do you remember the Europa League final where people going, Dean Henderson should have come on for penalties. He would have saved loads of them penalties. You have the Middlesbrough game where he doesn't save any. Yeah. So I think this is this sort of like argument that Dean Henderson's perfect in every way. He isn't. You saw it against Sheffield United where he got tackled in his own box. You saw it against, I think, Leicester where he was, I can't remember if it was Leicester or one of the European games where it went through his hands. And we saw it against Liverpool where he gives Mo Salah just the whole goal to aim at. But on the whole, I feel we look better with Dean Henderson in goal than we have done with David De Gea, personally.
And again, it's about going forward, who is a better value or better potential for the club. We know what De Gea is. We know that he's not going to improve at that. Dean Henderson can still improve. Like you said, Dean Henderson is, I think, on less than half of De Gea's wages.
Still on a ridiculous amount, though.
No, I agree with that.
He's on a lot.
Yeah, okay.
But I just don't see David De Gea sit, especially as a 31-year-old on 400k or 375k a week, I just don't see that happening.
And it doesn't seem sensible to me to sell both of our number one and
if you had to choose one or the other, because I'm personally of the opinion that neither of them might be actually what we need. I think David De Gea is probably the one that would move, that would want to move. And Dean Henderson, yes, I understand, Ronnie, you're saying he doesn't want to be number two, but I think you might have a better chance of him being number two and convincing him to fight for that number one spot than David De Gea going through that. Let's move on to defenders. Right, we'll start with Victor Lindelof. Some would argue, and I've made this argument myself, he's one of our most consistent defenders this season. Should we keep him or sell him? Let us know what you think. Keep. I mean, is this pretty open and short?
I don't think we even need to go into it. He's a good backup option.
He had a bad game yesterday, like the rest of the back four, though. But other than that, I think he's been our most solid defender this season.
Keep him.
Keep him. Eric Bailly, keep or sell. Right, so
We've both
Ronnie,
gone
you're
sell.
the.
I have no
the
reasoning
centre
for
voice.
this. I just like Baye.
You just like Baye.
I just like Baye. I think he offers an element of, I don't know,
Comedy?
Humour.
Yeah, there's like a.
But to me,
he's a bit comedic.
and not to have a go at you there, Ronaldo, but to me, that is the exact problem with United. In
The thing is,
People
I
like
like
Phil
Baye.
Jones, like
Yeah.
Eric Bailly, staying in the matter, staying in the team on sentiment.
Yeah.
This isn't a retirement home for our mates. This is a team that hopefully is trying to win some
there's
trophies.
a bit of matey vibe
Eric
with me on
Bailly,
this one.
has, except for the first 6 months he was at United, he's been here for 5 years, has never been a first choice. He's injured,
Been
all,
injured
the
all
time,
the time.
has talked about leaving, wants to leave, gets given a contract because he's asking to leave. Get rid of him.
He's all right.
I
He doesn't
agree.
play for
I
us.
like Eric Bailly, but for the reasons you
All
say,
right.
you can't rely on him. He's
It's
always
one of
getting
them-
injured.
My heart says keep.
Yeah.
My
Yeah,
head
it says
says
sell.
Well, this is what I mean, and it's like,
sell.
if we like keep players because of the vibes, I think
because
we're
of
in
a fun
trouble.
Twitter account.
Like, I just think it's it has been one of them. I mean, I do like the fact that he actually tweeted his own goal against was it against Liverpool? I can't remember which one it was against Liverpool.
apologise.
Tweeted a picture of it. It's absolute madness. But I think we have to get to the point where you go, we want to be a serious football club, and despite the fact he's good box office, despite the fact he's a bit of a cult hero, he's just not doing it, is he? Phil Jones. Yeah,
Okay,
I mean,
do we need
open
to
and
say
short.
anything?
Yeah, open and shut.
Not
case.
played hardly for 2
Return.
years. We wish him well, but it's time to move on.
time
Right,
to go, man.
here's a more controversial one. I'm guessing there might be a bit more of a debate with this one. Harry Maguire. We've all gone with sell. Joe, I'll start with you because you've been a pretty vocal supporter of
I
Harry
won't start.
Maguire.
If I start, I won't stop.
Right, well, we'll come to you in a minute. Why have you finally got to the point where you're going, right, it's time for him to move on?
Because I don't think I've ever seen a United player come back from the place that he's in terms of the fans everyone's against him.
Yeah.
Everyone hates him. He's clearly struggling. His performances haven't been good enough. Like, give me an example of anyone that's come back from that and had a successful
I'm
career.
not to
And
the
it's
level
not that I don't
of that
think
we're
I
seeing
think
at the
it's
minute.
impossible, or that if he returned to where he was last season or the season before, he would still be starting ahead of Victor Lindelof. It was consensus that he was a better defender than Victor Lindelof last season.
Yeah.
And now, only because Maguire's dropped his own standards, do we say that Lindelof is a better player. But those things have happened,
Yeah.
and he is the captain. And there is this thing with Ronaldo, and we do just keep conceding goal after goal after goal. And he is slow, and he is a bit clumsy, and he does make mistakes. So, I think we could still probably get 40 million quid for him. I know that might be a surprise to a lot of people. If fucking Ben White's going for 50 million quid,
Yeah.
any old shit gets sold for 40 million quid these days. Ryan Brewster was 30 million quid, having done expressly zero in his entire career.
Expressly zero.
Right?
Sub-zero.
I think we could probably get some money for him, which isn't the case for any of the players we've talked about so far. Even De Gea, I don't think you get much for because of how much wages he's on. I think you could get 40 million quid for Maguire, use it to buy someone else, save him from this, and
Who's
save
gonna
United
buy
from it as
Maguire?
well.
That's the thing.
Nah,
I don't
do you
know
know what
who's
it is
gonna buy
though,
Maguire
Ronnie?
for
Do you know what it
40
is
million.
though, Ronnie? And Joe's like, it's that old England thing. People love England internationals.
Yeah.
You will get 40 million quid for an England regular. I'm telling you now.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you should, but you will.
We almost got 18 to 20. What was it? 18 million quid for Jesse Lingard.
Yeah.
He had a year left on his contract, and he's
Like,
barely played his
people
whole
will-
career.
people look
West
at him
Ham
go-
Wasn't that on the back of his West Ham
Yeah, it was.
season?
But it was,
where he was
but
probably one of the best
it wasn't
players
a
in the
season.
league.
It was 6 months where he got 9 goals.
I
know
think
that
I
he
thought-
was-
He was
he was-
arguably the best player in the league for that.
Well, I know
last
it was
6
good. But what I'm
months.
saying is, it was based on a 6-month loan.
Yeah.
with a player
people
that's
will
on
come
the
in
edge
for
of-
England
yeah,
players.
no.
Like, and he's an England regular. He's one of Gareth
He's the first
Southgate's
name on team sheet.
stalwarts. And people, maybe it's a Newcastle or someone like that goes,
Yeah.
we'll have him.
You don't
Nah,
think
but-
Newcastle will pay 40 million
I
quid
think
for
they
Harry
would,
Maguire?
100%.
I think he'd be a great signing for him as well. That level where he's sat
That's
back
him
in front
because
of his
that was going to be my
goalkeeper.
excuse. Like Maguire, we have to sell him because similar to the sentiments you were saying about De Gea being like outdated almost in terms of his play style. I get that with Maguire when it comes to any top 8 club, really. If you want to be like a team that's on the front foot, playing a high line, being high pressing, high intensity, you need to be someone that recovers and is good individually 1v1 when you're defending. And you don't need the protection of 2 banks of 4 in front of you, like what Maguire used to play in.
Yeah.
He's never ever going to be the guy, and he doesn't have those attributes. Because when you're looking at the likes of City
Yeah, but I
and,
think
and Liverpool and whatever, and you're looking at those centre halves and what the demands are on them, Maguire's not capable of doing that. They're all athletic centre backs.
No, that's not true. Ruben Diaz is slow as fuck, and Kyle Walker covers for him all the time.
I'm glad you said that.
When Walker covers for Maguire,
because that's what made Maguire look better.
Yes,
I know.
In the
Euros.
But that's what makes
everyone's raving about Maguire's performance in the Euros because Walker covered for him anytime that someone went behind him.
One player next to him helps his teammate, therefore that player's shit. Walker covers for Diaz all the time.
Ruben Diaz is better than Harry Maguire.
I'm not saying he isn't, but I'm saying Walker has to cover for him. But what you say in that instance is, aren't City a well-drilled team? Isn't it good that Kyle Walker can do that? And when Walker covers for Maguire, ain't Maguire shit. Maguire had a great Euros, partly thanks to Kyle Walker, but that's what having a team is about. If we've got shit people who can't cover for each other, that's not the player's fault that can't get covered for every time.
There's a lot of things that Maguire does wrong. There's a lot of things Maguire does wrong that has nothing to do with teamwork.
But the point is, though, we're not talking about Harry Maguire go to Liverpool or City. We're talking about go to Villa or Newcastle or Lille.
Back to Leicester.
Or someone who, maybe not. You know what I mean? Like, literally a club that... even like look at some of the clubs that spend 40 million quid on a player. Yeah. You're not, Wolves, Everton. You're not talking about the top tier teams, and he won't. Everton, somewhere like that. They probably go. You know what? Experienced Premier League defender, England regular. We'll have him. I think there is a market for him, but don't forget as well. He's going for half his price that we paid for him 3 years ago. Less than 3 years ago.
That's at most.
Yeah, at most. So it's a demotion in it.
Yeah,
but I can see it happening. I just think it's very rare for you to get I know he's 29, but he's still got at least 2 or 3 years left in him, if not.
And he's only just turned 29 as well, like 2 days ago.
I think, I'm with you, Joe. I think it's not going to have an happy ending. No. You can probably get some money for him. And also, I don't think he would sit on the bench, and that's where he probably
I just don't think he has the minerals either. I don't think he's just got it in him.
I agree. Right, Raphael Varane. I mean, that's for me, it's open and shut, but do you guys agree? Keep or sell? I mean, yes, he's had a few injury problems, but he's still world-class defender, and how many players can we say that about? Diogo Dalot? Yeah, keep him. I mean, for me, he's a good squad player. I don't think he should be our regular.
I think he'd be a squad player, not a regular squad.
Maybe with Ethan Laird comes in or someone else, we buy someone, but I keep Diogo Dalot. You're not going to get a lot of money for him, and he does a decent job when he's in the team. So for me, I'd keep him. Right, Luke Shaw.
I think jury's out.
I mean, me and Steve did a video 2 years ago with David Pritt, and we were going through the squad on a tier list, and we said with Luke Shaw, the jury's out. You're saying it again now, and I think I've been saying it since we signed him. Yeah. The guy's been at United for 8 years.
Is it that 1 year he had?
You can't be saying the jury's out on a 26 or whatever he is year old. He's been at the club since he was a teenager. Come on, man.
You get a year, 18 months at best.
The thing is with Luke Shaw, he's a decent fullback with capabilities of being really good. That doesn't show it nearly as often, because the thing is with Luke Shaw, I don't get the vibe that he loves football.
No, I don't.
Do you not get that vibe from him? I feel like Luke Shaw looks like a player that plays football just because he can.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's
I don't
fine
get.
if you do that if you're very good though, but he isn't consistently good.
Yeah.
You know, in those 8 years we've had him, I think if you add up all the games, hundreds of games what he's played, for about half of those games, he's not been good enough in my opinion.
If you compare his attitude and work rate to, again, not quality, attitude and work rate to Fred and McTominay, if you gave Shaw Fred and McTominay's work rate and intensity and energy and willingness, he'd be the best left back in the league or thereabouts. Like you said, it doesn't feel like he wants it. You don't feel like he's that bothered. You don't feel like he loves football. And like you said, it's been way too... What we had, a decent 6 months out of him before he broke his leg, or a good 6 months, and a good 6 months last season, and that's it in 7 years.
Do you know what it is as well? Like with England...
I think we can get better in that area.
Yeah, and also... I think with England, he looked like he was enjoying himself in the Euros. Yeah. He doesn't look like that at United. No. Right, we move on to that one. Alex Telles. I think it's
similar to Dalot.
Similar to Dalot.
Secondary.
Not going to get a lot of money for him, and he's probably, as a backup, he's ideal. Yeah. Offers a bit. He's a bit different. Good on set pieces. A decent player on the ball as well.
He can play Champions League games. He can play the odd derby here and there and not get embarrassed. Like, he didn't get taken the piss out of yesterday. He was probably the only defender that didn't really, against City. So, keep him. Like I said, you're not going to get 25 million from him anyway, so he's a decent player.
I don't know about that. I think Telles was directly involved in like 2 of the goals he scored.
No, he was involved, but one was the ball was ping-ponging all around the box and he stuck a leg out. It happened to go to De Bruyne. And the other one, Lindelof's left his post and him and Maguire having to cover for it. I don't think he. Like I
just-
said, he
it
didn't
was-
have a great game, but
it
I
was
just said,
chaotic,
let's not
chaotic.
dwell on the
You
derby.
know, we're describing it. It just sounds chaotic.
Let's not dwell on the derby for this, because otherwise
No.
we'll end up selling everyone.
Yeah.
Right. Alex Telles does a decent job. Good squad player.
Okay.
Kind of what he was brought in to be. That's why we paid about 10 million for him, whatever. If you're paying 10 million quid for a player, he's usually not a first teamer. Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I've stuck up for Aaron Wan-Bissaka. We all agree. I just don't think this is going to have a happy ending.
he's not at the level.
And it's become comical for the wrong reasons. I mean, is there ever a good
Oh yeah,
reason?
remember you've told me a couple of things and you watch him thinking, what's he doing?
Like,
now?
what? Yeah.
What's
Like,
he doing?
what is going on? Like, even the Leeds game where you could argue he
See the one yesterday where he like
didn't play badly, but I don't get it anymore.
where he just ran the ball, ran the
and
ball out of play. He's
It
like,
looks like it's just all going wrong for him, and I think he needs a move. I just think he needs a move, and I don't think we need to dwell on that. Brandon Williams. Oh, I'm outvoted.
Yeah.
You two want to get rid?
Yeah, well, my point on this would be, we've seen him play for United. He's a good player.
Yeah.
I don't think he's the level to take us.
yeah,
up.
he's not. Yeah,
He's
not.
currently got a bit of kudos. He's playing for Norwich. He's doing well for them. Got their player of the month for January. If you're going to get a bit of money from, this is what we need to do. Players that are good but clearly not good enough for United. You know, make a bit of money. Let him do something that's good for him, good for his career as well. Get rid of him while we've got the chance, rather than giving him a new contract, hoping he's going to improve. Inevitably, he doesn't, and then we've got another Luke Shaw on our hands in 5 years. Just he's playing well for Norwich. Let him go to Norwich if you want him.
The only thing I disagree with is inevitably he's not going to get better. I mean, he's a similar age to Ethan Laird, and I'd sit here and go, Ethan Laird deserves a chance in the first team. Brandon Williams got into the first team well ahead of anyone's expectations because Luke Shaw, again, falls off a cliff. So Ollie goes, right, let's bring in a teenager, Brandon Williams. And then when it doesn't quite pan out, people go, he's not good enough. And I think he was ahead of schedule.
You know what's
almost.
the scariest thing about all
like,
this?
And he's gone to Norwich, and I don't know a lot about Norwich, but I've seen the way Norwich fans are talking about him, and he's been one of their bright spots this
In East
season.
Anglia.
Yeah, thank you. And he's been a bright spot for them this season, where someone like Max Aarons, for example, who was raved about, can't even get in the team anymore. And I just think with Brandon Williams, there is a player there. I think it's worth giving him at least another season back in amongst the squad because of his youth and because of the fact that if he's coming in, he's not going to be first team, first choice, but we might see some out of him now. You might go, okay, yeah, he can progress because he's still young enough to kick on.
I'm not. When I said he's not going to improve, I didn't mean he won't improve at all.
Yeah,
Obviously, as a young player, he'll improve hopefully quite a lot. I just don't think he'll be Manchester United challenging for trophies quality. I just don't.
Okay, I
don't think
that's
his delivery is quite good enough. I don't think defensively is quite good enough. I
just think because of his age. If he was like 2 years old, I'd probably be going no. But I just think that he's still youthful enough, and he's got that rare mix of he's young, but he's got quite a lot of experience for a kid who's only is he 21?
Yeah.
So I just think he's worth sticking with. But I'm outvoted. Get involved in the comments and let us know what you think. Axel TUANZEBE. Pains me this one.
Yeah, me
we've
too.
all agreed. Do you know what's cost Axel? Injuries. It's that simple.
Just don't think it's going to work out.
No, if he stayed fit, he'd be in the first team now. He'd easily be in this first team with Manchester United over Harry Maguire, but he got injured at difficult times, at bad times. I know it's never a good time, but times that affected his chances of getting a good run
He got
in the
injured
first
in the
team.
warm up at one point.
Yeah.
Didn't he?
After the first Villa loan, I thought this is it. It'll come back and be a first teamer. Just hasn't happened for him, and unfortunately, I don't think it's going to happen for him. So yeah, I agree with you guys. Right, midfielders. Let's start with. We never talk about him. Paul Labile Pogba.
Is
this just
we can't even sell him.
We can't even sell him.
Right.
He's pretty much nailed on to leave in the summer.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you know what? He's leaving. Move on.
Yeah.
One matter. Well, he's going in here.
Yeah, he's going.
And if he's not, I think the time has come for him to
come
go.
on.
Jesse Lingard. I'm not even going to move my board for some of these.
Yeah.
Jesse Lingard.
Down.
Go. He's going. Andreas Pereira. He's going.
Going.
Yeah. He's
Oh,
going.
wait, didn't a team want to?
They want to buy him. I think Flamenco. I think.
No, but then they just
Yeah.
they said, "No, I don't want him anymore." Something along them lines.
We don't need to dwell on it. Yeah. Whatever happens, I think it's time for him to move on. Amad Diallo. Probably needs to show a little bit more at Rangers. He's been a bit patchy, but he's only a kid. So, and I
it
certainly
looks
don't
like
think
he's
we should
struggling
get
with
rid of him
physicality
now.
a little bit,
Yeah. It's far too early to be going, get rid of him for me. I think the jury's out, but he's got time on his side. Federico Rodriguez, as his mum calls him.
Fred.
Fred. You're ready to get rid. What are you doing? I'd keep him as a squad player. I think we need to bring in some quality. And I don't think he should be in the first team, but I'd definitely have him around the first team.
Yeah.
You've had enough.
I've had enough.
Why?
I just think I don't know. I've not. How long's Fred been at the club now?
We bought him in 2017-18, was it?
I think
Oh,
so,
no,
yeah,
2018. Sorry, 2018.
And
We bought him.
And he's he's had patchy spells of looking fairly decent, all right, the game here and there. But that's the issue with players like Fred. When they're so bad so often at such a bad level, they have one half decent performance and everyone thinks they turn a corner and then they rave about it. Do you know what I mean? So like, and then, so like, if he drops like a 7 out of 10 instead of a 4, everyone thinks, oh, he might be a decent squad player for United. I just don't think he's at the level. He's not good enough with his feet. He basically came as someone that was meant to be Brazilian, both-footed. And I think his only both-footedness has been equally as bad with both, from what I've seen, actually. And I just don't see it. And even as a squad player, I don't know, man. I just feel like he's not at the level required, especially when I'm seeing how far behind we are with the clubs ahead of us. I think we need a better level, even for a squad player.
Is that I'm going to be wanting to sell so many of these midfielders that we'll have fuck all.
I'm not thinking about that in this.
Like I like Fred as a bloke. He's not good enough for United. He shouldn't be starting more than 20 games a season for United. I think he makes too many mistakes. Like you said, he can't pass. His tackling is. He only has decent tackling stats because he just runs into everyone all the time. He's got
That's what somebody does.
He's both of them.
We'll get some
They play like border collies. They run at the ball no matter what. There's no composure. There's no let me move my position. Let me just There's no consideration to how he plays. It's just I'll run about and hopefully that's enough, and it's not. But I'm getting rid of everyone else, so he's got to stay.
I keep Fred. I think he's a squad player. He can do a job. I like his attitude. I think that he is flawed. He's a flawed player, but I still think there's a player that you can get some use out of. So, and also there's a bit of the element of what you said as well, Joe. I think I've got quite a few who do want to move on. We've already done quite a few midfielders, so you've got to be a little bit more selective. Bruno Fernandes, let's not be silly about it. Even if you don't love him the way that I do, you're not
still been much more productive than a lot of players.
Yeah, you're not getting rid of a player that's basically giving you a goal and an assist every game, or an assist every game. Facundo Palestre.
I don't think Palestri's ever going to be it. Do you know what I mean?
So what you going with?
I'm going with Sal.
Right, you're going Sal as well.
It just doesn't seem like there's any through line for him to be in the first team or the squad or anything. Like he hasn't. I know he's a young player and things can change and stuff, but you look at what it takes to start. Like, why is Elanga? How has Elanga come past him? Like Palestre was brought in as like
he's Uruguayan in Palestre, I think, and he's had a couple of games for Uruguay, and I just think maybe. My one thing with some certain players is, and it's a whole sort of thing in football now, is if you've not made it by the time you're 20, 21, that's it, you're done. Some players can take a little bit longer. I'd give him another season, me personally, because he's not been at the club long. He looks all right in pre-season, then he goes out on loan and we don't see him again. I just think, because you're not going to get much from him either, so maybe just give him a little bit more time.
In the attacking positions, though, generally, it doesn't take longer. Like,
generally
it doesn't. Midfield and centre back a bit more so, but fullbacks, attackers.
You think they're a bit more experience orientated?
Yeah, they're a bit more experience orientated. It's more about positioning. It's more about that. But a winger, an attacker,
it is rare, but it can happen.
I agree.
Like you can see players in like the early to mid 20s who kick on.
Yeah, you can.
So you said it's like in all sports, especially basketball, positionally or in NFL.
And he's done well for Uruguay, and he's had like games where the Uruguayan press and fans have been raving about him. So I just think give him another year because I don't think you can get much for him. Nemanja Matic. You two are selling him. I'm keeping him. Why selling him?
He's a good player, and he reminds you why Fred and McTominay aren't good enough. But that's all he's there for. He's there to go. Remember how good I used to be? Yeah, but you're not that good anymore.
And it's not even nice.
And I like him. I think he's excellent.
He
shouldn't play.
But people think that every time he does a cameo, he's really good. There's been some times where he's come in after having not played a while, played a game, and he's not been that great.
No, of course, he's not brilliant every time. So but sometimes he reminds you of
I just think. Again, you're getting rid of a few midfielders. I think he can still do the job. I think you can bring him in. He brought him like sort of against Atletico, he sort of against Watford. Comes in, does a decent job. Is he going to start every game? No. But you need an experienced, solid DM who can come in. And we haven't got any DMs. He's the only one we've got, and we're going to sell him. I just keep hold of him. I would. He wouldn't be a first teamer, but I think you get 15, 20 games out of him.
It's not one I would kill for, but I just think. Again, we're just holding on to players for either sentimental reasons or as a reminder that he was.
I just think you need at least one defensive midfield option. At the minute, we haven't got any. Donny van der Beek. Do you know what? This is tough. You've gone with keep. You've gone with keep.
I'm going with the summer short-termism approach of basically he at least needs another season.
Yeah, I agree. I think the new manager coming in. I think next season's make or break. Obviously. I think that's it. Because it's a new manager, I'd go, if it was still on here, I'd go no. But I think a new manager might rate him.
By all accounts, he's actually done all right, Ivan.
I think he's done okay. I don't know.
Fucking hell.
But
that's it, though. No, but all right, Everton's
no,
like
but a new my point of keeping is a new manager might come in. If it's Ten Hag might come in and go, Donny's my boy. Like, let's have a bit of him. I've not been exactly impressed with him.
I'm not been impressed with him at United, but I feel like maybe for the investment, how much should we spend? Was it 40 million?
40 million quid,
whatever.
Yeah.
But again, he's one of the few I think you'd still get a bit of money for. And he's been here for 2 years. And how I know it sometimes takes a while. Like Cancelo's a good example. First few months at City, everyone was like, "Who's this guy? Shaky, whatever." Rodri, another one. But it doesn't take 2 years.
Nah,
it very rarely takes 2 years.
It's only because
for a lad in his
I
mid-20s.
don't know who the manager's going to be.
No, I get that.
That's the only reason.
There's that level of like, well, let's wait and see with him. But I just think a couple of decent games for Everton when they've lost half of them anyway. And great. James Rodriguez was better than he ever was at Everton for those first few games, and he's fucked off. You have to really stand out in a team like Everton to be good enough for Man United, and he's not doing it. I just don't see it. I don't see what we're trying to get out of him. But
get involved in the comments and let us know what you think. You can understand why I think what Joe's coming from. I do, and I can understand my own point of view. Obviously, James Garner. Keep having a very good loan spell again at Forest. I think next season is his make or break time for United.
I think next season's squad player.
Yeah, squad player, but we can see what he's made of. If he does bits, fantastic. If he not, then he'll move on to somewhere else. But I definitely don't see any value in getting rid of him. Scott McTominay. I think he's squad McTominay. He's just a squad player for me.
I'm just I'm just literally not a fan of him.
You're not a fan? Not think he's good enough even as a little bit of a...
No, and then, you know what's annoying though? Because all the work... all the compliments that he gets is work rate, passion, desire.
Passion.
Yeah, whatever.
Desire.
He didn't even show much of that yesterday.
Against City.
I remember, I don't know if you saw, but you seen the replay for the last goal, Mara's one.
Yeah.
How he basically jogged out and then
Keno was digging him out,
just walked past him.
He's not great, but I think he's decent, and I think he'll give you something. And I think that
I saw someone call
for a squad player, he's all right.
Saw someone call him limited, and that's basically
he is limited, but that wasn't enough of an argument to get rid of De Gea in your eyes. I think he's
no, because I think De Gea and McTominay are on very different sides.
No, of course they are. But you're using the word limited as a thing, a reason to get rid of someone.
Let me rephrase it then. De Gea's shot stopping exploits, which is the main attribute of a keeper, is about 100,000 times better than McTominay's. What he's a midfielder, so I would say passing, creating, whatever. I would say that's probably the main attribute in there. I think. What is the
depending where he's playing? Kante's best ability isn't his passing. His
all right, De Gea's best attribute is miles better.
De Gea's a better player than McTominay.
Yeah.
I'm not saying
McTominay's never been world class.
De Gea is a better player than Scott McTominay by a mile, and that's not what I'm trying to argue. But McTominay is being played in a position that he's not comfortable with because our squad is shit. And you talk about passion and stuff, and I know that it's become like a bad thing to be passionate.
It's not a bad thing.
I know
it against him.
It's a bad thing when it's your only thing.
No, exactly.
Or when it's your main thing, it's a bad thing.
I can't think of a game where Fred's sort of taken over. McTominay will do that occasionally. Like the Leeds game, the second half of that game, the passion is what got him through and what helped United out. Sometimes that does help.
2 great performances against Leeds every season, isn't?
Yeah, but I'm not saying he's Roy Keane. I'm saying as a squad player when we can play him in this position,
I feel like for this,
he's all right.
For squad player, he's okay. I think little things like I don't think you're going to get a lot of money for him anyway, and I think he brings something to the squad.
I feel like for Manchester United, a player that can't get into the midfield for Scotland and has to play centre half shouldn't be at United.
Yeah, but you're also being harsh there, aren't you? Because there are plenty of players that are versatile that have to be versatile for the sake of the team. That doesn't mean they're shit.
Because he plays in defence, does he? For Scotland, yeah.
But look at
because he can't get in the midfield.
Yeah, but that's like saying,
do you know what I mean?
Well, Trent Alexander-Arnold plays in midfield because he can't get him right. But that's not necessarily the case, is it? Sometimes you play in midfield. Sometimes
that's false
he plays it right back.
That is.
Well, no, but just because someone is versatile doesn't mean they're shit in every position.
We've spent far too long on Scotland. Get involved in the comments.
Someone starts midfield for Manchester United and he can't start in midfield for Scotland. That's a worry.
Well, do you think that Scotland's midfield is better than Man United's?
I would say
it shouldn't be.
But is it?
It is. But it isn't because McTominay's playing in it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, there's logic there somewhere.
So if we got him out, ours would be better.
Hannibal MEJBRI, this is an open and shut one, isn't it? Come on, I don't even think this is a discussion. We're not getting rid of him. He's mint, and he could be a potential superstar. Cristiano Ronaldo, in the summer, I think he needs to move on. It's not worked out. It's upset the apple cart, all the old cliches, whatever you want to look at it. I don't think keeping him around helps us. I think, you know, he is a great player and he has done great things and he's a legend. But for me, it's time for him to move on in the summer. And I think he might do anyway.
Yeah,
if we
all
want to keep
agreed.
him. Yeah. Anthony Martial. Strikers who are 25 years old getting loaned out to Sevilla are getting loaned out for a reason. It's just not happening for him.
No.
I love him to smash it, come back and smash it for United. I just don't think he will.
Especially when they don't want him back.
Yeah.
And he was heavily criticised by Lopetegui at the start.
Yeah,
saying
exactly.
he's
And he
wearing
wanted
his
to
back.
leave. He wanted to leave. And like Ralph Ragnick, you can argue, okay, maybe back the wrong horse in trying to convince Cavani to stay. But if Martial wants to go, and we probably get a bit of money for him, let him go.
Yeah, and also this like he's been shit for 2 years, but then people want to keep Donny.
Yeah.
And at least Martial's done some. He's been United's top goal scorer, and we're all ready to get rid of him after 2 bad years. I just think let's be consistent. Donny's been shit for 2 years. Get rid of him. He's been shit for 2 years.
I think the only reason, like I say, for the difference between Martial and Donny is Martial's well into his United career, wants to leave, like has made it clear, and also, you know, has gone out on loan with a view to, I think, having a move somewhere else. I think Donny's part of his move is to try and get himself back into United seat.
I'm not sure I would go with Donny, but I just think like,
and I
if you're
just
back
feel
for
like
2
a
years in
new
a row-
manager might come in and I can see him
When
looking
does
at
that
Donny.
turn around?
I don't know if a new manager comes in and looks at Martial and goes, "This is going to help me turn this United team around." He might do. There's a lot of football left in the end of the season, but I think he's got to do something spectacular. He's got to do like Jesse Lingard levels at West Ham to get back into this
But
United
not
team.
that got Jesse back in.
No, that's true. It didn't. Jesse Lingard's probably been worse for United than he's ever been.
Yeah.
Marcus Rashford, actually a bit of a debate in a minute.
Yeah.
Oh, this one's difficult because
So I'll be honest.
if you're talking about summer,
Yeah.
short term, because I'm seeing it, I'd say just about keep, but he's running.
Show us your
He's
thing,
right at the
show
end
everyone your thing.
of his tether.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
He needs, if he does stay next season, and I never thought I'd say this a year ago or even a few months ago, but we need to see something from Marcus next season because this season hasn't been good at all. And with reports that he wants to move on or whatever, or he's not happy, he wants to reassure us about his place. If Marcus Rashford plays to the best of his ability, Anthony Elanga don't get near the team. So it's one of those.
Yeah, I was honestly going to say with Rashford, I think next season for him, because he will likely stay, is make or break. Literally, it's one of them where if he doesn't kick on and he carries on this sustained form, it won't be a form thing. Then it will just be the player he's become. I don't know if that's going to be a confidence thing, the injuries he's been through, he's a change in his attitude, focus. I have no idea, but the level he's been playing at for the past 18 months is not someone that should be starting for Manchester United if you want to be winning things.
I think people are slightly harsh on him. I don't think it's been 18 months. Look at that. Like I know
he's had good numbers in that period.
Yeah, but the thing with Rashford is we were talking about this before. His playing style is so direct and so aggressive and so front foot that he very rarely has a 6 out of 10 game. It's either a 4 out of 10 game or an 8 out of 10 because he's one of those players that is either effective or he's not.
Trying things.
He doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't do what
people
Sancho
use that
does.
against Pogba though.
Yeah, he does. They do.
Yeah.
But he doesn't do what Sancho does, where he'll get it and give it 20 times, and he can make up for a relatively kind of eventless performance by just being on the ball. Rashford goes for it. So if he's playing shit, it's awful. I just think it's a bit soon to look at him and say you aren't going to be good again for Man United after the last 2 years he's had. I think even last season he got 20 plus goals
for me,
and 10 plus assists last year.
There's something psychological going on with Marcus Rashford. I don't know if Ollie moving on affected him. I don't know if it's just him being shifted around for different positions. I don't know if it's the weight of the sort of the world on him that's affected him. He just doesn't look like the same player a year ago, and he should be better. He's physically, he should be fitter, and he should just be have matured as a player, but he hasn't. But I'd give him I'd give him another season, basically, for the reasons that we've already expunged. Edinson Cavani. Yeah, that's a no-brainer. I don't think we've got a choice in the matter.
You don't even want to be here.
No, he don't want to be here. We don't need to discuss any
anyway,
further. Jadon Sancho. Again,
Easy.
let's not be stupid, and we may as well keep this like this because I doubt anyone's going to change their mind.
Yeah, he's found himself.
Anthony Elanga.
Keep.
Let us know whether you agree with Ronnie, myself, Joe, none of us, all of us, on any of those players. Make sure as well you are subscribing to the channel. Hit that subscribe button. You can go and find Ronaldo Brown. He's over on your socials. Ronaldo Brown 98, is it?
Yeah.
And Joe Smith 93. They both put their IQs on the Twitter handles, which is quite nice.
That's good.
Now we both put our date of births, and obviously yours is on there because number is a bit lower.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't fit 2001 on there. Right, so you know where to find these lot. You know where to find me, J Martin, socials as well. Go and check out the members section where we've got extra content. Check out paddockmerch.com for all your paddock merch as well. That's been Joe Smith. That's been Ronaldo Brown. I've been Jay Marty. This has been Keep or Sell at Stretford Paddock. Thanks for watching.